Hi there. As we're getting into the swing of things at the beginning of this year, I figured that I should let you know what to expect in terms of how you'll be seeing your students' grades. This is our first year using a new student information system. It's going to be replacing the go-to portal that you may have used in the past to check on your students' progress in class. And we're still working out a lot of kinks on it, and we're still really learning how to use it most effectively as educators, so I really appreciate your patience with the technical side of accessing your students' grades. But the old-fashioned way of accessing your students' grades is something that I can tell you about, and so I want to tell you a little about our rubrics that we use in class that I use to communicate your students' progress and that your student uses to determine whether or not they're on track. So before I give any assignment or any project or any assessment, I'll usually show my students a copy of the rubric that I'll use to assess them on. So for example, this is what a half-sheet rubric would look like for a math assessment or for a math project. This was a gallery walk, and you can see that it starts out, it has the standards on one side, and then it'll show beginning, approaching, meeting, and excelling. That's another change from last year. We are using the word excelling rather than exceeding because there's really no way to completely exceed and get rid of a standard that you've passed. We talked a lot in class about being able to go deeper and deeper into the content, and that's really what excelling is intended to indicate. So every rubric will have the standards that you're working on and also how you can achieve those different standards. So students will use those to guide their work. They'll oftentimes be posted at the front of the classroom for them to see while they're working, to kind of see how their work measures up. And then after they're done with the project, I will then usually give them their rubric, and it'll oftentimes, there's an example of one, it'll show you where they fell on the rubric, and then they'll also have some comments either on the top or on the side depending on how things were copied. You'll notice that this rubric was blue. That's because I really try to color code items according to subject. I know that we do a lot of cross-curricular stuff and that's not really going to match up, but for example, if you receive something in blue, it's usually a math assignment, or pink is usually a reading assignment. Yellow is usually a writing assignment. Those rubrics are then usually included in the student's portfolio, which can be found on the side of the classroom by our outside door. So if you'd ever like to take a look at your child's portfolio, that's where you'd find it. Please come on in. They're labeled by student number, and you can flip through that at any time. The other place that you'll see your rubrics arriving are in your child's Super Bright folder that will come home pretty much every Monday, as I've mentioned in the past. It'll just be a piece of construction paper folded in half. It'll have all that student's work for the week, and that may include some rubrics of things that they've done throughout the week. Those rubrics are theoretically going to correspond with what you will see on the new student information system as you look at your students' grades online. But for now, like I said, if technology is at all a barrier for you, please feel free, come on, join us in our classroom and take a look at how your student is doing. And as always, I am available by phone, email, or text anytime to talk about your students' progress. And if they're ever dissatisfied with a score that they've received, hopefully they're able to articulate what they can do better next time and what they can ask for from me to help them achieve it next time.